Hello, I'm Les Robinson. As ETSU's athletic director, the buck is always getting passed to me. Buck taters, that is.
Les, pass
buck
the buck.
Taters are delicious, crispy Terry's potato chips.
Hey, Les, pass
When
the
you
buck.
purchase Buck Taters, Terry's Snack Foods passes a % of the sales to ETSU's Athletic Scholarship Fund.
Hey, Les, pass the
Buck
buck.
Taters help young, qualified student athletes receive an education. Coach, pass that buck. The buck stops here.
Help ETSU student athletes buy Buck Taters.
WJHL TV 11, Johnson City, Kingsport, Bristol.
From TV 11, Eyewitness News. Stephanie Boyd with news and weather. And Kenny Hawkins with sports.
Good evening, everyone. A small plane crash near Bluntville last night had the pilot and passenger counting their luck. Although the aircraft landed on its top, the two occupants were said to be walking around when emergency personnel arrived. The plane struck a telephone pole at exactly 10:26 after the pilot says his engine went out. It was 3:30 a.m. when pilot Mike Snyder made it back to the crash site to check out what was left of his Cessna 152. The Abingdon, Virginia man says his single-engine plane lost its engine just after leaving the Tri-City Airport, headed for Virginia Highlands Airport. Snyder says he couldn't make it back to Tri-City, so he crash-landed on County Home Road off Highway 126. Snyder says he saw cars traveling down this highway and thought he could use their headlights as a sort of makeshift runway. But as he approached, trying to land either on the road or in a nearby field, Snyder says there were no cars in sight. These power lines were then the only thing Snyder said he could see. Knowing they could cause serious trouble if he were caught in them, Snyder opted to break his flight by hitting the pole.
He's very fortunate that he didn't get into the power lines and really create an explosion or a bad problem.
Once on the ground, there was still the possibility of an outburst, and that had firefighters laying down a blanket of foam around the craft.
A situation like this where you have the electrical system still hooked up in the plane and you've got a small fuel leak, you're always concerned about explosions or fire breaking out.
Miraculously, Snyder and a female passenger, he says is an employee, walked away from the totaled wreckage. Too shaken up to speak on camera, Snyder says he's more embarrassed than physically injured, telling Eyewitness News things like this aren't supposed to happen. The plane's crash had an indirect effect on all residents of Sullivan County. That's because when the telephone pole was struck, the main trunk cable for the county's emergency 911 system was knocked out. Since the system is designed to automatically transfer to Washington County, Tennessee's 911 center in the event of an emergency, officials say there were no problems in maintaining calls, even those calls which came in during the transfer period.
A backup system where any call that comes in, if our operator is unable to get it, when that person hangs up, it prints out the telephone number. We did have 2 or 3 or several of those calls that come in that manner, and what we did was call those numbers back, but there was no emergency calls.
Lowry says the majority of callers wanted information about the plane crash. A Big Stone Gap, Virginia man is dead tonight following a shooting incident last night. Authorities from the Big Stone Gap Police Department say they received a call around 9 o'clock that shots were being fired on East 6th Street near 2nd Avenue. When officers arrived on the scene, they found the body of 54-year-old Herman L. Reeves, who was moving to Big Stone from Pennington Gap. Officers served an arrest warrant on 49-year-old Lester Camp Jr. of Pennington Gap based on information obtained from witnesses. Reeves' body will be sent to Roanoke for an autopsy. Some people just aren't getting the message, and that's why healthy heart advocates say they need to keep spreading the word. At a Heart Healthy luncheon held in Johnson City this week, the director of area seniority programs said continuing education programs are the best defense against heart disease.
you need to keep reinforcing the fact that cholesterol is so important. And it seems sometimes as much as you can do this, or as much as the papers will print about it, or TV will carry programs, some people just don't get the message, and they have to hear it maybe about 10 or 20 times before it finally sinks in, and they say, oh gosh, maybe I better do something about that.
Pratt says the best way to stay heart healthy is through prevention, diet, and exercise. A flash flood watch is in effect for our region tonight. I'll have details when we return with the weather.
It's March, and your Jeep Eagle dealer is blowing away the competition. Get a great deal on an Eagle Premier, plus extra savings. Get cash back on top of your Eagle Summit deal, and get Jeep savings this big as we set out to break all sales records. There's never been a better time to grab savings like these. But hurry, once these deals stop flying, it's all over till next March.
See your Southeast Jeep Eagle dealer, where you can expect the best.
Hey, Dad, when's the last time you had to do that?
Not since we got electricity in the barn. Before you were born. Now and then I like to make sure I still can.
Every day, your power company works right along with you. Electricity. It's dependable, affordable, and even inspiring. We do good things together.
What does a heart look like?
3 foot down, 2 parts facing down and across like that. Pink. Red. At the bottom it's real sharp. Pink. Red. Pink. Red. Give up. It's really pink. Red.
Cardiac care for children. We know just how important it really is at the Regional Children's Center at Holston Valley Hospital.